everybody. Welcome. My name is Scott Kelby, but that doesn't matter because I'm here with someone in Photoshop who's way better than me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather round as we welcome Bret Malley to the show. Yay!
Clap track. Thank you so much for
clap track. We don't have a clap track, man. It's me and Jen.
I thought that
Jen
was
and I will do
epic.
it. We'll
Thank
do
you.
it.
That's the sound.
Underscore Juan Alfonso.
Thank you so much for having me here. I think this is fantastic. Thank you, Scott.
We're glad to have you here. So you've been here doing a class that I've wanted to have done for so long. I've asked so many people to do it, and not only did you say you could do it, which I knew you could do it because like your compositing is your thing, but you sent me some samples. You sent them to Jen, and she sent them to me, and I'm like, oh, this is so what I want. You know what I've been asking for so long? I need a class on shadows. How to make realistic shadows. Because you see so many composites where the shadow is the dead giveaway. It's in the wrong direction. It looks fakey. It looks too soft. It looks too hard. It's just, that's the thing that kills more composites. Two things I think kill composites. Yeah. Number one, not matching the tone. Mm-hmm. Like you put someone who's got a bluish tone on a yellow background, they never do the tones. Yep. And number two is shadows.
Shadows, yeah. And usually it's a combination, so between the lighting, everything affects kind of everything else. So the matching the colors, lights and darks, and then the shadows are a part of that. You can't have light without a shadow. It has to make sense. At least emotionally, it has to work, and then try to put together the physics of it. So I was glad to be the sucker taking on the shadows.
No, not a sucker. You're going to be the hero. They're gonna carry you through town because
I so hope people find it useful. But
this is it's such an underrepresented thing for how important it is.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, people want to just do composites where it's just from the knees up, right, just to get around it.
Yeah.
Right? And that we all want to do that. But tackling shadows. Man, it's not only fun.
And by the way, that's why people do them from the knees up.
Yes,
especially when you get to the feet. It's where it all falls apart.
Let's avoid that. Yeah, no, it's a fun one. So hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully everybody else out there enjoys it.
Oh, they're gonna love it. I saw some of the samples. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's nailing it. So it's gonna be great. We're very excited. So glad to have you here.
Yeah,
we're doing blind photo critiques today with Photoshop composites, compositeros. Now, I realize, while I'm just looking here, so we have an outline, by the way, that we go by, so we know what time to take a break, which we never follow, and all kinds of other stuff. And I'm going to look, and I think I sent the wrong outline. So it's possible. Or maybe the outline's just in the wrong place. Let's see. No, it's the right outline. I just was drinking when I did it. So anyway, okay, it's just me. It's just me, not you. But Jen's here. Jen's on the chat.
All right.
Jen's on the chat and moderating. She's here.
Monitor.
And Rob Foldy is in the chat today. Rob wants to know, what will it take to get Scott to wear a hat like that? He looks cool in that hat. I can only wear certain hats, as you know, Rob Foldy. I have one big hat called my Rob Foldy hat that I wear everywhere. It says Rob Foldy in big letters, but that's the only one.
I have two hats. One's my more vagabond look, and this one's my more semi-professional look. So this is...
No, I like that. It's if you can get it, you can do it. All right. So let's see what we're going to do. We have all kinds of stuff to talk about today, but we're going to look at composites. I have to tell you, I have to give you a warning. Nobody sent in composites. Do you know how many composites we have to look at? This is going to be the first grid show that ends on time. 7 people. Now, other people send in all kinds of other stuff like didn't read it's supposed to be photo composites. So 7 people. We're going to dig and we're going to just dissect and destroy these 7 people. I'm totally kidding. We're not going to do that.
Sort of.
We're going to be nice, but we'll be able to dig in a little deeper. But we have other stuff today. I want to say hi to some folks here in just a second, but I have a tutorial that I've been meaning to do. And I know that this show isn't so much about doing tutorials, but I've got one that I want to do here on a computer. And this is really important. And for those of you who watch the grid, I think this will mean something to you. Is when you get chicken and a biscuit, it has to be the blue can. Do not use the yellow can. You're going to want to use it because it says cheddar. But this is following up on last week's show. Blue box, blue can. Now here's where people get thrown off. Look at the back. So look at the back of the box. Yellow can. It does not taste right.
That's confusing.
It's not bad. it's just not awesome. You want awesome? Go blue. And that's the tutorial for today. Okay, a couple other things. Oh, Cheeky Nando from Lisbon, Portugal says, so is this going to be a shady episode?
Ah, yes. We're going to be master.
Hey, where's Eric Kuna? I can tell you where Eric Kuna is. Eric Kuna's in Puerto Rico today. Do you know why Eric Kuna's in Puerto Rico? He's on a freaking cruise. Juan's working. I'm working. Jen's working. Brett's working. Everybody's working. Rob Folty's kind of half working. And Kuna's on a cruise in Puerto Rico. We don't like him very much today. Hey, before we wait, we're going to dive in. We got to get. Well, we don't really have to. We have 7. We can do whatever we want today. Hey, I looked over on your screen and I saw something. Or did they have you connect to video control room? Anything?
It looks like we can display. what I have here. Yep.
Yeah. So this is one of your composites here.
Yeah, this will be for one of the first section of the shadow class.
Ooh, can we show it? Just take a quick look there.
Yeah. So the idea, this was, talk about how to do soft shadows. It all depends on the kind of lighting that you have. So this was one that we're looking at for just how to paint in manually. It comes with a few different ideas, but basically you have to get everything dark as part of it. But more importantly, looking at the seams, right? So it's not just a matter of sort of making it soft and fuzzy around the area, but specifically where the edges. When we talk about seamless, it's those seams that really matter more than anything, those edges of the subject and the edges of where that subject touches the background that you have to match the tones, match everything, and use the background as the template. So look at shadows. In this case, I had a car. I can see how dark it was. I could see what the tone was. It wasn't achromatic.
Oh, that's cheating. You could look at other shadows to see.
You have to cheat. That's the key.
That's cheating.
That's right.
He's cheating.
Photoshop is great for cheating.
It's the king of cheating.
It's true.
Hey, by the way, you're getting some love for the hat. Rubino Wen. Rubino loves the hat. Deb digs the hat. It's hat day. It's hat day. All right. So you have a book on compositing.
I do, yeah. So it's through Adobe Press, Peach Pit, and Pearson. Let's see. Adobe had me add a whole bunch of Adobes in it. So let's see if I can get it right here. Adobe Masterclass, Advanced Compositing, and Adobe Photoshop CC, second edition. So I wrote the first one several years ago. And of course, as soon as you write a book, they have
new
to
stuff
update
comes
everything.
out
Yeah,
and add
new,
cool
new
stuff.
everything. So we went a few years down the road, and now the second edition is out, and it's more robust. It's 400 and some odd pages on compositing of all styles, taking a look at my own sort of fun composites that I do. Some of it's hands-on, where you get the files, you get to sort of follow along, you get to play with fire, all these sorts of fun things.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
well, we're going to look at some composites that 7 brave people sent in. 7. We usually get hundreds, and we got 7. So 7 it's a good number. It's like lucky 7.
Well, thank you, brave people.
Brave people. And we'll give some shout outs and stuff here in a second. Let's go ahead and we'll look at the first one to get us going. I'm just going to relocate. Oh yeah, I'm not on a control room. I like the way I ask him if he's on a control room, but I'm not actually on one. All right, we'll take a look at our first one. So here's what we do, by the way, in this wild world. We've asked our viewers to send in images. They sent in 3. We'll take a quick look at the 3 here. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. So we've sent in the 3, and then we give our honest opinions, and we try not to be mean, but we try to be honest. It's very tough to get an honest opinion in the photography world today. You can get extremely mean ones, and you can get, everything you do is awesome, but there's supposed to be this thing in between where it's just here's where you stand. So I'm going to let Brett, of course, carry the load here, but I'll run the computer for you and stuff. But so what do you think? This is our first 3. I'll just let you see them again. Here's the first one, and the second one, and the third one. So we'll start back here. So.
Yeah, perfect. You nailed everything. No, there's some things. The idea is really fun, but there's a lot of things, especially with the darks that aren't working in the rain, right? Atmospheric perspective for a lot of composites, especially when you're doing more of a cityscape or landscape. That's a big thing that stands out, kind of like shadows with a subject, right? If things don't feel like it's layered and there's depth, it falls apart. So adding more atmospheric perspective, more sort of, just fog and things, especially the further back you get. If there's mist and there's rain, rain doesn't just happen as a curtain, right? 10 feet in front of the camera and then ends.
Right.
Unless it's a Hollywood movie and they have a rain machine. But typically, it builds up the further you get. So the kind of rain effect isn't working in its current state. I like the energy of things, but yeah, it just needs... more contrast? What else are you seeing on there? So, I mean, there's
what it is? To me, the rain, it just looks like a pattern over the photo.
Yes.
It doesn't really, I mean, you wouldn't go, oh, it was really raining. It's I would say, more so than the other two shots, this is a very obvious composite. It is.
It's the tell immediately. It's the tell. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it looks like you ran some like kind of a crosshatch or something. It just looks like a Photoshop filter.
Yeah.
I would rather see you go get a stock photography, a photo of rain,
yeah,
and just blend that in there than trying to run a filter because it doesn't look like real rain. It looks like a filter has been applied at the end, almost like a paper texture.
Right. Yeah.
So now I'm not even looking at all the shadows and the other issues. And you're right about the fog and how as you would have, especially with this much water kicking up, you would have all kinds of atmospheric effects that are kind of missing. It's almost like a bright sunny daylight and you threw some water in there, but it doesn't have the depth that it needs.
I would say this is almost the start to an idea that hasn't been fully rendered yet, to be diplomatic and nice about it. Specifically, when you're looking at especially these kind of composites where there is, a background and middle ground, the only thing that's going to be true black, the only thing that's going to have true shadows when you're looking at it is the things that are close. And the further back you get, it gets more washed out. You don't have the same contrast. So just even adding in more, just fog and various things.
Oh yeah, so those buildings that are further back and stuff, because like right where one of those like cars or buses is, it's black over there. It's like 100% black.
No, fade that. Even just painting with a soft and fuzzy brush will instantly make that, with a low opacity, instantly make that a lot better.
Fuzzy brush?
Yeah, soft and fuzzy. Let's see. Yeah, that has the paper look. Using it as a start, but usually you'd get some close raindrops, some other things. So yeah, you need to vary that up. Like, you think going with real rain or real water for that.
So let's say if we started from scratch, and it looks like he probably started with a downtown photograph, right, on a bright sunny day.
Right.
So how would you build this from that one shot to make it a realistic composite?
Yeah. So if you have your background, you have your idea that you're going with. Let's see. I'll look over on your screen there. The main thing is to figure out the angles that you're going with there. And right now, the water, you can get away with some things because it's so chaotic, but the water doesn't quite match up with the angles and perspective that we're seeing. So making sure those are a one-to-one. The light, if you can't identify the light source, then that can be pretty problematic. If you can't figure out where exactly it's coming from because it's multiple areas, so either match the lighting of your background, or if you want to match, these stormy, waves and things, go one way or the other, but you can't try to do both at the same time. So I would pick one. So back to your question, I'd pick which direction I'm going as far as lighting, and then I would start matching to that.
All right.
Yeah, but that's
now this one seems better to me.
Yeah. Just taking it in here. Yeah.
I just went quiet there, so
Yeah, no. What's nice is the motion blur that's happening with the background. You can do a lot of playing with that. I have kind of one that I did where my son was pulling me on my I guess I'll call it my little red writer there. But that
hey, can you hit the letter F? Will it go full screen?
No, not with this. But I can open it into
Bridges,
Photoshop and then do some commands.
I always think you should have to have a second program to view your images large.
I know. That's the way it should always be.
Gen like that, so there you go.
You always have to open it in multiple ones. Okay, get rid of that. Command R that. There we go.
That's pretty cute.
So yeah, whenever you're doing that, there's some complications that happen on there. But looking back at, if we can pull back to the other.
Was it kind of dangerous having your son out like that?
I thought, he levitates fairly well.
Oh, that's
and
good.
He had to practice.
It's a gift.
It is. Well, everyone knows their child is special, but seriously, my
super special.
So,
all right, here we go. So.
Yeah. So I'm liking the more neutral colors. So there's lots of things going for this in a composite. Is, as you mentioned, when tones and colors are off, then that's a dead giveaway. Shadows are off, that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, how about that hard shadow under that police truck on the left?
Right.
And versus now that you said that earlier, and I'm looking at the other car.
Yeah.
Look at the shadows on the BMW in the front.
Yeah.
Now look at the shadows under the truck on the left, and those shadows are very hard.
Right. Yeah. So making sure that the light, the quality matches with not only the angles, but just how dark it actually gets on there. But I like, the little headlight thing going on. It has a nice sort of flow, eye flow that's happening there, bringing us around.
And the last one.
Epic. I love the idea. Let's see.
So is this that, what do you think? Is this that forest in Ireland, or is it just a whole thing is just a bunch of composited trees? I don't know.
It's just one tree, and they puppet warped it. That'd be one way to do it. No, I love the idea. I feel like I want something else in that composite leading me to something, and I kind of get thrown. So just looking at it compositionally, not quite, because I feel like it's a start, but it hasn't been, again, fully rendered
yet. Yeah, it's missing that.
So in just looking at that composition, what am I being led to? What is, again, the light source? And it feels like we're going a couple different directions, both color-wise and light direction-wise. But I love the trees, right?
They're great
a really
trees,
nice
yeah.
feature. And is that supposed to be a moon back there?
It's a bright moon.
It's a bright moon.
Bright moon.
Glowy moon.
It's a glowy bright moon. It's an alien moon.
Excellent. I love glowy things.
All righty. Okay, well, that gets us started. That gets us rolling. Yeah. Hey, I want to just give a couple of shout-outs here. Dave Williams is here with us. So Dave Williams writes on Tuesdays on my blog, and he did a very cute tutorial this week, adding a cheeky rainbow. So he showed how to add rainbows. It's a composite trick because he shows you how to create the whole thing inside of Photoshop. So it's so check that out if you go to my blog. It was on Tuesday, so yesterday's blog, which should be the March 12th, I think. No, March 13th. All right, and let's see. Rich is here from sunny Minnesota, where it's a balmy 39 degrees. He's watching the snow melt away. Melanie Kern-Favilla says, howdy, folks from Long Island, New York. Melanie, I was in New York on Monday and thought of you and told stories of you, by the way. Because so I'm just going to mention this right now since we're mentioning Melanie. So Melanie was one of the artists that was featured in our gallery. Well, today we hung, because the images from this week's Ian Monroe from the UK is going to be featured in our gallery this Friday for a gallery opening. And before I walked on the grid set, I walked through the gallery to see it. Calibra's over there. Calibra actually does the layout of the gallery. The walls are movable, so we move the walls to different places. His images are unbelievable.
I got to see them.
Melanie, I wish you could come and see them. She would love it. She loves the gallery, and she would love to see it. They're so great. He does these fine art composites, all of his stuff. Have you seen Ian?
I got a quick tour through there. It's hilarious, brilliant, and hilarious.
It's brilliant and cheeky and funny and interesting and disturbing, especially when you see the old man's naked butt. I think is really one that throws you, right?
That's the one that
you don't expect to see that butt right there.
It draws you in.
It does. It sucks you in. You can't say no. It's like, I want to see a 74-year-old old man's butt, large in a composite. This is the place to come, KelbyOne. So hey, if you're somewhere in the Florida area and you would like to come, you can come on and join us on Friday evening at 7 o'clock. There's a wine and cheese reception, so we'll give you some booze, we give you some cheese. I'll have this in the back. So if you come and see me, I'll get you the good stuff. They're going to have the fancy stuff, but you want the good stuff, come see me. And that's Friday night. You're welcome to come. It's open to whoever would like to come and see it. Now, after that's an hour. Then we go into the theater and we do an interview with Ian, which I got to imagine is going to be wild. And we broadcast that live on my Facebook page and on the KelbyOne. It's open to everybody, so you can just watch his interview and look at his stuff. So that's this Friday. And you can watch Naked Old Men, I'm sure. I can't wait to see Larry. So Larry Becker is doing, he does our interviews. I cannot wait to see Larry and Ian. It is, Larry lives for stuff of that.
It's so interesting.
And shout out to Victoria Pavlov, KelbyOne instructor. She's going to be at Photoshop World. She is a brilliant digital artist, and she said, and makes me love her even more, Scott, we bought the blue can.
All right.
Right? There you go.
The goods.
And Will Taylor says, today is my birthday, and I just got my Platypod Max from KelbyOne. I won it. Best birthday ever. Thank you to Scott Kelby and KelbyOne. Speaking of that, let's do some giveaways. Ready? Because we have special giveaways today. Boom. Platypod Ultra. Now, we're going to give this away. It's the greatest tripod replacement in the history of man. But I just want to say, Chiquinando got busted using this. Chiquinando was in Lisbon at a place that he took me to, a palace, the Montserrat Palace. Security busted him using it. Now, I think they did some things. He actually wrote a post in the KelbyOne forums about things that you don't want to do if you want to get busted. But it's very rare to get busted with a Platypod. Fernando got busted. Very sad. We're also going to give away the Platypod Max. This is if you have a big DSLR. So you'll get to choose. If you win, you get to choose which one you want, right? We're going to give away them both. We're going to give away a copy of my book, the Photoshop CC book for digital photographers. CC, it's Spanish. And, ready? Are you? I'll go back one up on me because this is and we're going to give away, I'm kid you not, a fresh box, because this is not fresh box of chicken and a biscuit and the blue can. Somebody somewhere in the world, I hope this goes to some place where they don't sell chicken and a biscuit like Canada or the UK or someplace. It is going to create a sensation in your country you're not going to be able to control. Tourism is going to go up by 64%. All righty. So let's look at some more. We'll get some more comments here and stuff. But, Larry Becker is watching. He says, happy grid day from Lakeland, where the perfect temperature is 69 degrees, with Larry and a smiley, smirky, naughty face.
Also, add to the giveaway, if people are interested, we can also give away a copy of my book.
Oh, yes. Yes. So, we got 2 books, chicken and a biscuit. Oh, by the way, the chicken, the biscuit, and the cheese is one prize.
That's good to know.
There it is. That's the cover right there?
Oh, yeah. Let's see if I pull it up here. It's large. What's it going to do?
There it is. Large. Okay. Adobe Masterclass Advanced Compositing in Adobe Photoshop CC, 2nd edition.
Do you think we should have done more Adobes in there? What do you think?
No, I think you got enough Adobes in there.
Okay. Yeah, so if anybody's interested
pretty well Adobe'd up.
There we go. Let's see. And Command 0. All right.
There you go.
Bam.
All right. Now, if you don't win it, you can still go buy it. Go to Amazon. Go Amazonian.com. Mm-hmm. Buy it there. And there you go. On Monday, I was in New York City, and I'm driving down the road in my Lyft, and I drive by an Amazon bookstore, an actual Amazon brick and mortar bookstore. I told the driver, stop, I'll get out here. And he's like, you want out here? I went. Hung out there in the cafe for an hour, checked the place out.
It wasn't just a warehouse.
No, it was it was like a small Barnes and Noble. It was very nice.
Cool.
Very nicely done. Very Amazonian. All right, so let's look at another one. Here we go. Today we can be pretty leisurely with our time, because we only have 7
submissions. Yeah.
All right, now let's go ahead and hold. Let me get them all ready here.
Okay.
Here we go. Number 1.
Okay.
Number 2.
Okay.
Number 3. Come on, these are pretty good.
I like some elements about these for sure, but there's some parts that
you're tough.
Quite working with the eyes.
I like this one.
Yeah, no, I love the color palette that's happening. But
I know what you're gonna say now that you said the eyes.
Just the pink of the eyes and the lips. For some reason, that is the one component, and that's an easy couple of adjustments.
Yeah, but look, let's do this. But let's really zoom in because I think it's more intentional than we think.
Okay.
Because it looks like it's cut out, like they did a cutout to reveal the pink skin tone. Yeah. It looks intentional.
It does. Yeah, it's just with the color palette, I feel like it needs just maybe a little bit more, desaturation, just a tiny bit, and I think it would sink in there a little bit better.
Well, we have this program. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Is it Photoshop or is it Adobe?
No, it's Adobe Photoshop. Always use the word Adobe.
That's right.
All right, I'm going to go desaturate those a little. Let's go ahead and just do it, right?
Just in that one.
I'm just going to, just like here. We maybe a little bit more, right? And there.
Yes.
And the lips.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Oh, the lips is a bit too much, right?
Yeah, you don't want it to look too washed out.
You tell me when.
Let's see.
Now I can add in or I can take away.
Yeah, go full. I want to see it full again, just to see.
Oh, wait, well, there's 100%. That's the original.
Yep.
Here's cranking it.
Cranking it.
And then here's desaturating.
Yeah,
it.
somewhere between, before. Yeah, let's.
No, I see what you're saying now, though. Now I see it.
But maybe just also a little bit more yellow as well. Because, I mean, again, the palette that you have going on with all the other pieces, I love that.
Well, I can add a little more yellow into it so it's not so.
Yes. Yeah. That's so personally, I would go more in that direction, but I love the.
Let's look at the side by side here.
Yep. Not a huge change, but for me, it's enough that takes away from the natural. It's the making it feel intentional and owning it and having a little more.
There
cohesion.
we go. I tweaked it a little better there.
Okay.
It's.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's pretty clever, though.
Yeah.
But now that I see it, now that you say it.
Well, that was the only thing that's sort of popping out. But eyes are important, right? So again, our eyes are always drawn to the eyes, right? And light spots, and when color and tones feel off, then it feels a little bit off. So, but otherwise, very eclectic, great color palette on there. Yeah, fun one. That's a good one.
And here we go. These are. This is another one. Now this looks like they did a smoke technique.
Yeah.
I doubt that this was maybe. I mean, you can get these online if you go to like Adobe Stock or something. You can buy these, but this is probably the artist did it. Thoughts?
Yeah. Let's see. The contrast. That's a fun idea with it for sure. It'd be nice if the swirls, and it looks like they started with the head, were more kind of seamless in how they come off with the body parts or the tone. I'm thinking of that shoulder or swirl off of a tattoo or something that doesn't feel like two separate pieces. I feel like we have the kind of the smoke, and then I feel like we have the subject, and they're starting to blend. But it'd be great if especially when you have textures and these things where they are very different. How do you use the organic forms and other things that are in there and make it flow from that? I think that would help a lot with the composition. Yeah.
So I'm going to say there's a comment here from Rubino Owen.
Yeah.
And it's really Robin Owen, but it's just a thing now. So I'm going to agree with her because all of the problems that you're talking about are little technical problems.
Sure.
There was a technical problem with the first one. There's a little technical thing in the second one. But what she says, I agree with. She says, I love the creativity of this artist.
Yes.
This artist, and I think when I looked at these I liked all three of them. Yeah. But what really took me away was the creativity. Yeah. Now you're looking at a much more critical eye because composites are your thing, and this is exactly the reason why I will not be asking you for a critique of my composites. But I really think the creativity here. I think the creativity is spot on. Like this is a really clever the way it's half white and half black. Mm-hmm. The smoke's black on one side. This is a very creative artist. I really think they got a lot going on.
I love that one. I love the limited palette. Things feel cohesive. It feels very stylized in that it's not trying to be a seamless composite, right? There's all these different flourishes, but just, going straight to that.
And there's like vector art.
And there's vector art. It's more mixed media sort of thing.
Ooh, mixed media.
But no, that's really great. So, for me, I go straight to that eye, and then I'm sort of led around on that left green swirl, and then go down and around to the lips. It brings you around and around.
All righty. Well, very good. Nice job to this artist.
So those are all from the same artist?
All from the same artist. Nice. Yeah, all three of them the same person.
Yeah, I think the last one was most successful.
Somebody asked if I could hold up this. I hope this is the one you were asking for because it's the only one I've held up. So this is maybe we'll zoom into the second thing. I'm waiting for underscore Juan Alfonso to, here we go. There it is. So this is the Photoshop CC book for digital photography. But we're not just giving away this one. We're also giving away Bret's compositing book. So this master class on compositing, we're giving both of these away. And we'll show you how to win at the end, and it doesn't matter where you are. We'll ship it. If you're someplace crazy, we'll ship it. We have lots of comments we're going to get to here on the break, but we are going to take a short break, and by short I mean kind of short. Hey, I do want to mention real quickly before we go to break. I'm going to be in Atlanta with my Lightroom seminar Monday, March 26th. If you're anywhere in the Atlanta area, if you know another photographer in the Atlanta area, have them come out and spend the day with me. We're going to do Lightroom all day long. We're going to have a blast. And anyone in the Atlanta area that's coming to the seminar is welcome to bring their own easy cheese. We're an equal easy cheese seminar. And then 2 days later, that's Monday, March 26th, so just a couple of weeks from now, then I'm going to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin that Wednesday. So apparently I'm flying from Atlanta to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, cheese capital of America, I'm bringing my own cheese. Because my job will be to infiltrate easy cheese into the Wisconsin economy. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you will come and join me at those dates. For more information, go to KelbyOne Live, and I hope to see you there. It's I think it's $89 for the whole day if you like sign up now. If you wait till the last minute, then it's $99. And so that's where it's at, KelbyOne Live. So go check it out. And then the last one will be, well, not the last one. I think I'm in a couple more seminars. But in April, Columbus, Ohio. Oh, yeah. I'm coming to Columbus. So that's all I got. I think we should take a break. When we come back, we're going to look at Juan's Instagram page. As always, write this down before we go to break. _Juan Alfonso. _ That's his first name. Weird, but it is. It's true. You can't make this stuff up. It's on his license.
It's legit.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Tamron, professional photographic lenses.
Hey, we are back. Scott Kelby here. Bret's with us. Juan's in the house. Jen is over doing what Jen do. She's on the stuff. Hey, so let's take a quick look, if we can, at Juan's Instagram page. So this is taken out on location. Terry White was here, as you guys know, in the Grid last week, and we did a class on the DJI Mavic Air. And so a little behind-the-scenes shot as the Mavic Air rests gracefully on top of a pylon. All right, so you got to go follow Juan. Let me tell you, Juan's Instagram is about to get crazy because we are going to Venice. So Juan and I are flying to Venice in about 2.5, 3 weeks.
Nice.
I'm doing a workshop over there, but we're also taping some classes. You know who's flying to Venice to meet us and do cool classes? Dave Williams. I just mentioned him a few minutes ago. Dave is coming to do a cinematic drone class.
Cool.
Shot in the Dolomiti Mountains of northern Italy. So so go follow Juan on Instagram now, because Juan will share plenty of behind-the-scenes photos of cheese, like on the plane, easy cheese, all kinds of stuff. So it's _Juan Alfonso. There it is right there. Go follow him now, because he'll have all kinds of behind-the-scenes stuff, because that's what he do. He's like a documenter. He's a documentarian. And I feel bad for him because, of course, he's born with the name _. Okay, lots of comments. First, Stephen Barnes says, "Hi, Scott. The first set of photos that we critiqued were his." He says, "Thanks for the honest critique. Will bear all the advice in mind when I try my next composite." Stephen from Belfast, Northern Ireland. All right, so Stephen, first off, I want to take my hats off to you. With that kind of attitude, I guarantee you your next composite will be better. When you really have got the right attitude. Because I've had this happen so many times where I've had my work critiqued. And when you go, gosh, I never thought of those things, and then you go employ them, you see an immediate difference in your work. I think that's one of the most powerful things of getting a critique like that. So, Stephen, I know we're going to see great stuff from you again. So, Stephen, please, in the future, resubmit again. Yeah. We won't know it's you.
And it's hard putting your work out there. I mean, a lot of times, especially when you're first getting started with this, it feels very personal, right? You think, oh, this is me I'm putting out there. You just, with your work, you have to treat it where this is not you, it's not your soul, right? This is just your work that you're trying to make better. And that's the whole point. So when I teach my students, you have to look at it that way, and know whatever I say, that's just my opinion, my eye, what I'm seeing, and there's probably other people that see that too, but that's not the end all be all by any means, right? So take everything with a grain of salt, but also learn from it. You really think this is my work, getting feedback from there, but it's not the final say on any of it. It's all a process, and ultimately it's about improving your eye, because that's the only way. And just hearing from more viewpoints helps your eye really get fine-tuned, so you can see things more objectively, which is the whole trick to compositing is getting a good eye for it.
And you know what's interesting? Like I see these images many times for the first time on the show.
Yeah.
And even just listening to you, like how you were talking about looking at one car and then using that as I see the BMW show up and I'm like, oh, hey, it's like I think there's so much can be learned from looking at other people's photos. So thank you for doing that. Also, I want to give a shout out here to, where did she go? Kathy Carson Newman says, woohoo, that was me. So that was her wonderful artistic composites that we just saw in the last one. So congratulations, Kathy. What an artistic eye you have. Very, very good. Congratulations. Very great stuff. And by the way, we don't mention people's names unless you mention them. That's why they're called blind photo critiques. We don't know who the people are that we're critiquing, and we don't mention your name unless you say, hey, that was me or something. Then we do. But we don't just, say who you are just to be mean. No. Paul wants to know, hey, Scott, what are your views on the new Sony A7 III? So, Paul, I haven't tried it. I haven't had my hands on one. I was hoping to see it when I was at WPPI. I just haven't seen it yet. I've heard a lot of great things about it, but haven't had a chance to play with it yet. So I know the Sony sensors are ridiculously good. So I would love to get a chance to. You got it.
I have the 2. I love it.
Right?
I haven't got it ahead of the 3 yet. So I was hoping to hear how is it?
I don't know. So if I get a chance to get my hands on one, I'll give it a run through and I'll let you know. But so sorry, I wish I could be more help there. Can we scroll back up there, Jen? We had a lot of comments coming in because I wanted to reach this one. So GW Clark says, I watched the famous Attack of the Killer Sheep episode. So he watched it with his wife, and now she's addicted to. Well, that was an embarrassing episode. The Attack of the Killer Sheep, it's a long story. But I do want to say shout out to Jennifer, she's addicted to our show. So thank you for watching, Jennifer, and thank you for sharing the Attack of the Killer Sheep episode with her wife. Certainly one of the best. Eric's here from Norway, and he goes, remember Lofoten? Is that what it's called? Anyway, I'm going there, Eric. I'm going to be there. I'm trying to get there this summer, trying to get to Norway, and we're going to go to either Lofoten or Lofoten. I'll be polluting with some blue can. Anyway, but I'm trying to get there this summer. We'll keep my fingers crossed. Kevin Scott says, Scott, I'll have easy cheese and chicken and a biscuit for you in Milwaukee.
Nice.
Woo! In case the TSA gets stupid. Yeah, it's been confiscated a couple of times.
That sounds rough. That's hard.
Yeah, they take it. But you know what? It was cool though. The TSA guy, literally was so cool. He says, I can't. You can't put this on the plane. I go, you're taking my cheese. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. And he was laughing about it. And I said, can I get a picture for Facebook? He goes, yeah. So he put it back in my bag and he's like taking it out slow and he's posing for me to do it. I'm like, this guy's okay.
Yeah.
All right. And let's see. Chris Wiley says, tell Scott he should get a sponsorship from Nabisco and charge for product placement. Chris, I couldn't do that, and here's why. This is so good on its own. Just being able to eat easy cheese is payment enough. Let's just put this. This is product placement. Make sure you can see the logo.
Did you get both in there? There you go.
Right there. All right. All righty. Let's go take a look at another one. So here we go. 3 images, and 2 of them appear to be composites, and the third one I'm not sure, but let's take a look.
I didn't mean to chuckle at this.
No, yeah, we're just chuckling at me saying that. Yeah, okay. All right. So there's one.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
And this one's the like subtle text in the background there. I don't know if you guys can see it small, but and I can't zoom in. And you guys see what happens when I zoom in. My screen goes crazy. We're working on that, but it's like a that's the thing.
Skynet.
And this one, I'm not sure that this is a composite.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's start there.
Okay.
What the heck?
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good. If it gets by Scott, then that's a good mark. So, no, a fun idea. I like these kind of composites all the time. And what I mean by these composites, well, now I'm seeing a lot of the things, is you have your archive of images. Just you're traveling around, you're taking pictures of everything because we're all addicted to photography, and we can. The storage is so cheap, and I have these massive archives. I'm a digital hoarder, and I can do that. So with these kinds of things, this is a great one because you might have something where, you just got some birds, that were making a ruckus and they're kind of interesting. You like the textures or feathers. And then you also have, perhaps some grass. You're like, hey, these might go together. So it's a fun just exercise in practicing getting composites. Where this one falls apart a little bit in its current form is the shadows. I see they're just sort of soft. And it's a good start, but there's a soft and fuzzy that was just one round shape that is just behind them, kind of like they just kind of sat on it, and it doesn't quite match the feet yet. The feet are still a little too vibrant, and the shadows underneath them are too soft and not quite deformed and darkest right under the feet.
And if there was a class on doing shadows,
I know,
but there's not
someday.
one yet.
So,
right.
Another thing. Well, if we go back that one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, sure.
Sorry. There's more. And then the clone stamp. When you're doing that, make sure you're doing all sorts of variety, right? I see over on the left.
Up here, this whole repeating area.
It's kind of everywhere around the top part and the left-hand side and the bottom left. All of those repeating elements.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
that's the same exact.
And even just above that tail feather, or just to the left of that.
Same piece of grass.
So, and that's great to start with that as your sort of base layer. Maybe you did content-aware fill, right? That's really fun to start with the base, but then start making sure you're doing variety, where you add little pieces, take from little to the left, to the right, until it pieces together. And once you vary it up, you'll see an instant result in the composites. And then one last thing about this one, again, just looking at the technical side, I love the idea, right? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. These guys just kind of having a fun time in a different environment, but they're a little bit too white, and the background lighting feels warmer. So just warm those. Are they? What are the birds?
Those are birds.
Birds.
Yeah.
That was the technical.
Those are birds.
Bird name.
All three of them,
The
I believe. And
birdie.
The one on the left is the left bird.
The left bird.
Jeremy says the wing of the left bird looks transparent a little. You can see the tail of the other behind it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can see it.
Working with transparency a little bit.
Well, I obviously wasn't looking close enough because, But,
I think adding a little bit of variety to the clone stamp, making sure the feet, knit a little bit better with the background.
I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, but these things take time, right, to put a good composite together. And at the end of the day, I would go, I'm not sure why you took the time to put this composite together.
Yeah.
If it was just like, I just want to practice, but at the end of the day, you don't go, wow.
Right.
3 birds.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, I think this is lovely.
Right.
Unfortunately, what I think is one of the most lovely things about it, you can't see. There is some kind of a poem written. It looks like an old handwriting kind of poem. And I can't zoom in, unfortunately. It's as big as I can get it because my screen messes up. But there's beautiful text there. There's layers of stuff here. You've got the edge effect, and you got the text, and it blends into her. But I'll let you take it from there. But I think this is well worth doing.
What would be the solution to that text? So perhaps lighter, because you have this light motif thing going on, right?
You could go with white text and then just make it 7%.
Just go light rather than dark.
Opacity.
Because it's, unless your concept is where it blends in, it's more subliminal and it works more as texture, then that's fine. So it depends on your concept, but it feels like that's important. So make it visible if it's important.
And that text in the bottom left, there's some kind of interesting elements being blended together here.
Yeah, I don't even see that one on there.
Yeah, if in the bottom left corner, there's some kind of a drawing or something over here. Yeah. It's all very subtle. The whole thing is except for the edge, is kind of subtle. But
as far as the image itself with the photography, it's really lovely. I think that's a good word for
Jared says, I think it screams 80s, like 1980s.
Sure.
Now, what about this one?
Pause. Heavy pause.
Heavy pause.
No, what I like about it is the setting. When you find a cool setting and you find these elements, I mean, that's where you get, for me, that's where I get my inspiration. Just, oh, this place, I got to do something with this image in the future. And you may not know what yet. You just sort of tuck it away in your hoard of digital files. But I think this is a really good example of where you found that shot. Now you want to do something with it.
That's some deep grass.
Yeah, and so
that poor horse is buried in it.
So this isn't quite matching up. So what I might do is use this as a template for what you then go shoot for that background, and use this as a starting point for, okay, I know these elements, this is what I want to do, now how do I make it seamless? So in looking at some of the technical things, it looks like the grass, the scale is different. It's not quite matched up. We're shooting from more downward, and we're closer up, perhaps more of a telephoto with those guys versus the grass.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here. Uh-oh. So because this is your first time on what I hope will be many appearances, but I'm going to ask you to do this. I want to show you guys a compositor that I love from the UK, and the reason why when I see this picture, I think of him. Mm-hmm. And it's not exactly the same style, but it's this big sweeping epic, that kind of thing. Yeah. I want to show you his stuff. And he's an award-winning commercial photographer. So the composites he does are for commercial clients. Yeah. While I'm doing that, here's where I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you take over the commenting over there and kind of read comments and respond to them and talk to Jen? And
sure.
Well, I'm going to have to go find his site real quick.
You go find it. I'll see if I can read it.
Okay.
I have dyslexia, so this will be fun. It'll be all garbled here. No, okay, Kevin Hilleburton, sorry if I messed up your name there. Let's see, shadows are the toughest part of lighting too. It's so true. Looking forward to this course. Me too. No, it's true. They are. It can be tricky, but there are some set, not instructions, but steps that can make it a lot easier, such as making sure that everything gets darker, then you're still keeping the contrast, and then you're matching the tones. So with 3 kind of layers underneath things, that helps. But you can't forget to add shadows on top of the subject, and specifically clipped to a subject that will darken that down to match. So again, the more you can match those seams, the much more believable it will be. And the more you can match it in multiple layers, then you can kind of adjust the opacity for each of those layers and really tailor it to work. The more you can work non-destructive, right, the better. So don't just do it all in one layer, in one go. Make sure it's separated out, then you can really finesse. Go give your eyes a break, right? Go to the bathroom, take a shower, whatever you need to do. You'll come back and you'll instantly see more things that you just really need to fix up just to make it perfect. So shadows can be tough, until you take my class, then it'll be easy. No, there's some interesting, tricky things, and all shadows are different, right? Just like all the light is different. So, pay attention to the actual, use the image there as the template, and that's the way to go. See how shadows fall, see the quality, and then match it from there. Let's see, other questions. Let's see, where are your notices posted when you want photos for critiques? Let's see. That's a Facebook page apparently, and Twitter.
Yeah,
okay,
my Twitter. If you follow me on Facebook or Twitter, you'll
okay.
You'll find them.
Let's see. Too much light. Oh, someone commenting on there.
All right, here we go.
Bret?
I found him. All right, his name is. Well, I'm waiting for it to draw now. His name is Julian Caverly.
Uh-huh.
Right, and let's see if we can see me on my screen. And this is him. He shoots these in the studio.
Yeah.
So they're studio shot, but the plates really match. And let's see if I can find some more of his stuff. I always think his he's won about every award you can win. Yeah. And look at that. It looks like he's there. It looks like you found him at the end of his walk.
Right.
Now,
I've arrived.
3/4 though. You're not seeing his feet, right? You don't see anybody's feet in these composites. You just have to assume that they're there.
Yeah, standing on.
But I love his stuff. His stuff has this dark, it's like I went and got townspeople.
Yeah, there's a realness, there's a grit to everything between the backgrounds and then textures on the subject.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love this one.
On the color control, right? Everything fits.
Oh, the colors all blend beautifully.
Even if the scale is off, it works on an emotional level.
Oh, look what my screen did there. Sorry. There we go. There we go.
Reminds me of the 90s eraser.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to block.
But isn't his stuff nice? Yeah. I mean, I think it's just, and they're all portraits, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that one really is a composite, but that one surely is.
Right. Yeah, so
and of course Joel Grimes, everyone's familiar with Joel, does wonderful compositing.
Well, and the thing with these, and I'm noticing that the angle that things were shot, or the millimeter, the lens, might be more telephoto for one than the other. But when you match so many elements and it feels stylized and intentional, you can get away with things where technically you could analyze, just like my own. You see things and you're like, that technically is impossible. Well, when everything else works and there's eye flow and the aesthetics work and texture, it's no longer about that. You get the idea of it, and it just works in itself.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I wanted to show you guys Julian because I think he's pretty awesome. All right. Let's look at some more. But I think that was we have a couple more comments here too. What was one that I just saw? Rubino Wen says, Bret, it's okay to mess up a name. Scott does it all the time. Yeah, so the reason why we call her Rubino, of course, it's Robin Owen, is her name, and I actually called her Rubino Wen. Now it's it. Alan says, Alan was talking about the last one, says too much light and a lack of depth in that one. All right, let's take a look at another composite here. Okay. It's another composite time. So here we go. I think she was actually there 8 times. So that's now with a slow, with a burst, well, what's it called, a delay, or you could do this. You could get her all in one scene like that, but that's not the composite.
Right.
That's just the flash effect.
Yeah.
The composite is she didn't do this out in the field.
Right.
Where she's buried, her legs are buried. These people got some thick grass, right? This grass is deep.
Well, that's the other component, if you're not going to show the feet, then at least bury it. That's, I guess, the thinking, right? On there. So starting with this image, I like the idea of getting a nice, plain, open area in which to do some compositing and fun. A stage, right? You're playing with this sort of field as a stage and matching sort of this idea of performance and outside. So on the idea of it, I like where that's going. On the technical side, doing 2 things, playing with a sort of ghost low opacity element, and then other things that really stand out. The parts that stand out currently in their form stand out for a couple of reasons that you would want to definitely tweak and fix. So one, things look too sharp compared to that blurred background, and specifically, it's okay if backgrounds are blurred as long as the depth matches the exact distance they are from the camera. So how sharp the things are where they are is problematic, especially when it feels more like a motion blur for that background.
I was just going to say, I don't think it's just strictly a blur. That looks like a motion blur.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the blur, so getting those cohesive. So it's not, just about color, which that's the second part here, and it's not just about the edges and shadows, but getting things cohesive in every way. You have to zoom in. What is the blur of where they are standing, and how do I match that? Sometimes it's turning the carefully masked out subject, which looks like this took a long time. It's not easy. Well, now it's easier and easier. Now there's a button in the latest version. You've seen that select subject, and boom, it selects the subject.
I know, it's amazing.
It's pretty cool. Anyways, but depending on what it is and how much hair there is, it can be trickier. But it's also about turning that into a smart object, matching blur. The second component that stands out is the color. It feels too warm compared to the cool background. There feels like there needs to be a little more blue on those subjects themselves, a little more green. Some elements where they just
pop cooling.
Some cool. It stands out a little bit too much compared to the background. So those things would help, and then of course shadows would help too. That's even if it's just a little bit in some areas. But they're ghost people. Maybe they don't have shadows. So.
Well, some are not. Only some are ghost people.
Right. That's true.
Same idea, different place.
Yeah. Fun ideas. This sort of outdoor stage.
Now, you can see they try to put some shadows in here.
Yeah. There's one.
Look right there. There's one. There's one. Kind of a couple there. They put a couple of shadows in.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. With the dark shadow.
A lot of deep breaths over there.
Well, yeah. But no, I like the idea. I like the concept. It's fun, straightforward. But on the technical side, this one with the tones, it matches a bit better than the other one.
Yeah, the tones do match better. They all have a brownish, warmish kind of to them.
Let's see. There's a couple that are just a little bit too sharp. This is hard matching really kind of blurry ones and sharp ones and not getting it to look collage-like. That's a tricky one to pull because in the photograph, I guess it all depends on what's your intent and where you're going with it. If you want this idea of sharp motion and movement at the same time, if this maybe losing that concept, it might look a little too busy like this. I love that. The idea, right? Music and color. There's so many parallels and the vibrancy.
You know what's really throwing me? Those two toms are so far apart. How does he get from the low tom to the mid tom? I just can't work with this photo. I don't want to play that kit.
It's tainted.
That kit is messed up.
It stretches. Yeah, it does feel far. Well, once you're used to a certain, went to a concert and we played the whole kit standing up. That was impressive. Yeah, but it does leave more room for the light sort of playing, the light painting that's happening there.
Oh, see, look, people are tuning in now, thinking that it's about to start because we had daylight savings time. So the grid is what, an hour earlier? We're springing forward.
Spring forward, yes. And me, I'm coming from Oregon, so you're kind of 4 hours.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, Ben's just like, oh, man, I didn't realize it was on early. No, we're on at 4 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah,
so
welcome, Ben.
And it's now 5 o'clock, and we're like almost out of time. So
okay.
And I can't believe we only have 7, and we're just, we gotta move on. Hey, I do want to mention there's a question for you from Jock's Photo wants to know. He says, can you comment on a composite versus a collage?
Sure. Yeah. And this is my idea, right? What does that matter? No, the idea of I don't personally enjoy collages. They can be really fun. I get to teach, compositing classes at the college that I teach at full time. And the first thing I have them do is do a collage. Get it out of your system, right? Because that's kind of the first go-to idea of a composite. And technically speaking, it is combining multiple images together into one image. So technically, it's a kind of composite. However, when I talk about composites after that first project, we're talking about more seamless. So even if it's something surreal and where impossible, it still feels like it's cohesive and it works all together. And it's not just jagged pieces. It doesn't look like a magazine sort of cutout collage. So that's where I kind of draw the line. My goal and what I always try to get my students up to is how to make it seamless. And if it's something that is more eclectic or surreal or conceptual, at least make it as cohesive as possible. Control the colors, control the tonal elements, make sure things are blending from one thing to the next, and it's not just one element, another element, right? And it's, of course, when I first do it, people start with their cats. I do too, right? That's the idea. So, they just get all their cats there and they think they're good to go. Start there, but start looking at, okay, how can I make this blend seamlessly from one thing to the next, or flow, or make it feel like it's all stylized and part of one cohesive image. So to answer the question in short, collage, very eclectic. Things don't really have to match. It's more about size, shape, and just the sort of eye flow and composition. Composite, it's more of that seamless element where things feel cohesive, things feel knitted together, and you believe it as one element. It's not that you can't have cohesive collages, but there's an element of sort of realism where you believe it and it works all together in a different way. So things like shadows, things like matching the edges, right? So you don't want, if it's a blurry background and a really sharp subject, you want to make sure the subject's matching the blurriness of what they have behind. So sometimes it's compromising or sharpening up the background so they meet in the middle, and making sure that the edges are feathered just right. So it's about making things mesh on a very technical side. But it all depends on the subject and where you're going with it.
There you go. All right, let's Doreen says, sorry, he's a beginner. We've moved the toms. Well done, Doreen. I was just kidding just for like the fun of it, but Doreen, seriously, move those toms together. Get those toms. Get the toms. You don't want them going over here and having to go all the way over there. You want them right there. Anyway, Doreen. So, Dave Clayton just joins as you were finishing. He said, Glenn and I just finished recording episode 7 of our podcast. Hey, so they have a great podcast. He shoots, he draws. Wait, he draws, he shoots.
Nice.
He draws, he shoots, right? He shoots, he draws? He shoots, he draws. They have a wonderful podcast. I just went and wrote a review today on the iTunes store because it's such a great, I gave it 5 stars and I wrote, they have great chemistry. It's fun. It's interesting. It's entertaining. It's really great. So you can subscribe to it on the iTunes store. You just go search for it. In fact, I think I just retweeted it yesterday or the day before. So if you go to my Twitter page, you'll probably find it. Or just shoot. What are you, Dave? Are you the real Dave Clayton? His Twitter handle changes every 4 minutes because he's always usually on the run from the law. But if you'll tell us, Dave, we'll send him over to your Twitter page where they can find out about it. And Dave did a guest blog last Wednesday. If you go to scottkelby.com, he was my guest blogger, and he wrote quite a bit about blogging and stuff. And there's direct links to it there. So go check that out if you can't find that. Let's look at a couple more real quick. Here we go. We've got, let me open up this. Here we go. Fire forest girl. The forest's on fire, but she doesn't care.
She's creating it.
Oh, she is creating it as she walks.
Yeah.
Or she's in an unfortunate situation where the fire is chasing her.
That would be rough.
That's
Yeah.
Pirates of the sea. Pirates of the sea. They're shooting stuff right at him. He's got a real cool hat. All right, so this is one, and then here's the third one. Mm-hmm. It's the Wolf Marine. It's always the same song. It's always going to be Riders of the Storm. It's the Wolf Marine.
It seems to fit with most of these. So.
You need work on your type. I'm not talking about the Wolf Marine type. All right, so there we go.
Who do we want to start with here?
Let's start with the fire girl.
Yeah. Things that immediately stand out.
This girl is on fire.
This girl on fire. So we go right
Come
to the
on, Jen,
subject.
you recognize that one? This girl is on fire? That's like not from the 80s. This girl is on fire. No. Alicia Keys, thank you. Yes, very good. 5 points for Jen.
What does she win? Another book. Let's see. Yeah, I go right to the subject, which is nice, right? And sort of the composition. I like how they're trying to do the framing with the flames. Neat idea. We can see the concept working. The technical thing that immediately catches my eye is not quite there, because there's good cohesion in general with the color, but the smoke on the left a little bit, and just some of the smoke, it feels like it needs to be warmed up a little bit more. It just feels a little on the cool side with those things. And, smoke and blue, right, it is, but when it's surrounded by that much, the orange and red, that lighting and everything else has that cast to it, then that would probably have it as well. You still want to identify as smoke, so just a little bit, and sort of finesse it on there. But otherwise, I like this idea of this fire trailing behind. This is epic, right?
Epic.
Especially coming
It's epic.
coming from California, where fires are real. Let's see. Yeah, so this one again, and this is from the same artist.
Same one. Yeah, these are all three. Yeah.
So fantastic, cohesion and just limiting the color palette.
Yep.
And that will instantly tie things together and give you more leeway and play, and you can scale things in a different way. The one thing that immediately stands out as not quite right yet, like I put that, is the upper right-hand corner subject. They feel like a little disembodied, just floating there. The main subject, that's working. And I like your idea with the Eiffel and the sword pointing to them, but it feels not quite right.
Disembodied subject. Disembodied subject.
It almost feels like you want to go, fade them in where they're, in the hierarchy. You go to the pirate, big pirate there, and then go down to the text. You almost notice that other person, in third rather than trying to compete for second.
I don't know how much you know about the grid, but the people that watch the grid are messed up. In the forums, they're now coming up with songs about fire. Cheeky Nando is singing, "Come on, baby, light my fire." Fran Hughes is burning down the house. Our house. And then N. Robbins, I don't know the song, says "Firewoman" by The Cult. Now, if you said Blue Oyster Cult or just but I don't know the song by The Cult. But I love that you guys are in there. Hey, Melanie Kernford-Villa says, laughing out loud, my husband Dave, who's a drummer, he plays in a KISS tribute band, an awesome guy. Nice. When he was here, when Melanie and he were here, I could just hang out with him all night and just talk music and drums and KISS. It was so much fun. He said, my husband Dave just said the same thing about the drums.
It's too far.
Like we see that and we're like, you gotta fix those toms. All right. And now we're at the Wolf Marines. Okay. Start your end. There's not a whole lot of Wolf songs. That's going to really limit the crowd. Hey, by the way, I was mentioning Dave Clayton. Dave Clayton on Twitter. It's Dave Clayton. ITS, Dave Clayton. CLAYTON. So
no underscore.
There he is. It's Dave Clayton. He's beautiful, man. I love him. I want to have his baby. It's a food baby, though. I want to have a food baby.
Lots of cheese.
With lots of cheese, a cheesy food baby. Dave will be here soon. He's going to be my guest on the grid next month.
All right.
He's coming all the way from the UK. And you know what we're going to do when he's here?
Cheese baby.
Give him a cheese baby. Absolutely. Wow. Hasn't taken you long, Brett. He's been here half a show and he's like, cheese baby, right? We've already messed him up too. We've broken him. He's only been here one day and he's broken.
It happens.
All right. So what do we think about the Wolf Marine?
Let's take a look at it again. Let's see here. Where is it? There it is. Yeah. Again, good cohesion, limiting that color palette. I love the idea of the blues there. I'm liking how the face is more lit, right? Brings us right into there. I'm a little distracted with just how bright some of the background lights are. Maybe just on the one on the left, because I like the one how it creates separation for the kind of the ear and the back of the head there.
I think he's nailing the colors, though.
Nailing the colors. I agree. And sort of fading to black. There's no feet in this one.
Just that's good. To black
there.
Don't put the feet.
It'd be nice to see some glint off of, the what?
Yeah,
the
John's asking, what is the Wolf Marine leaning on? Like, what is that thing? That's like a thing coming out of his hand, isn't it? Yeah, that's like what Wolverine has coming out of his hands, which are they're chopsticks. I think they are.
Wacom tablet.
Wacom tablet pens.
Yeah. So, and part of I think the confusion with this is the shadow from underneath his right arm, and that's where it goes straight into there. So if there was glint off of those whatever they are, the talons we'll call them, then it would shine and work a little bit better. Or if there just needs to be a little more separation.
We have the fake rain too.
Fake rain? Let me see. Oh yeah, I can see it on your screen. Yeah.
Fake rain. Fake rain is falling down.
Yeah, some more variety in the raindrops, especially if it's in front of the subject. Those are going to be big raindrops, right? The further they go behind, they'll get smaller. But you found another song.
With the rain in my shoes. Sorry. All right.
That's good. Yeah.
So hey, also, this is a completely different thing, but this is something that I noticed probably more than most. You got to work on your type, like even your movie poster type. So I'm going to give you a font for you. So take a look at this. What am I at? I got to make it big. This is a font they actually use in real movie posters, right? And these are for posters that I made for our offices and in theater. I took classes that we've done and I made movie posters of them. And the font is called Empire, Empire, and you can find it online. You have to buy it, of course, but it's worth it. It's a great. And look, I got Juan in there. Edited by Juan Alfonso right
underscore?
There. Underscore, yeah. Sorry, Juan here.
You get names wrong too.
Let me just put an underscore in there.
A token underscore.
Oh, it's in black though. We got to put it in white. Oh, I've really just messed that up. Hold on, Juan. We want this to be right.
It's got to be perfect.
And then now I have an X in there instead of an underscore. It's really, this thing's taking a turn for the worse.
At least it doesn't have a shadow.
That's not really an underscore. Look at that. There we go. Edited by underscore Juan. All right.
Yeah,
So anyway, pretty good though. I think this person did pretty well. Hey,
Yeah,
while it's on screen, go back to my screen while it was there in big letters. New issue of Photoshop User's out. The new issue of Photoshop User magazine is out. It's out, so go check it out if you're a KelbyOne member. If you're not a KelbyOne member, don't check it out because you can't.
But they should become a member.
Hey, John Corwin has a good point. He's got dry hair, even though it's raining. All right. We got like one or two more, and then we're going to have to blast out of here. Let's look at one more, and then we'll. Oh, yeah, we only have two more. Here we go.
Okay.
These are kind of interesting, I think. Here. So let's take a look at this one. And this one. Thoughts?
Yeah, let's see. So with this one, and again, I think these are all, working on especially more of an emotional, where it feels like they just work. We get the idea, the style is there, everything feels intentional. If we're looking at seamlessness, I mean, it depends on the concept. If you want it to feel like it stands out, if you're going for pure seamlessness, what stands out is not quite there yet. Is this one feels more blue, right? We still have reflections.
Yep.
The shadow, it feels like you painted a little more achromatic, and that's hard with yellow.
What does that mean?
So without any, no color tone to the black. So without color of any meaning, no chrome, no color. So when you do that to yellow, this happens all the time with flames. When you're trying to mask out an edge of a flame, but it's yellow, it will look muddy, it will look off. So making sure when you're especially having something go from yellow to black, you have to add more color in there, more oranges and more reds, and that will make it more believable. So yeah, right, just even kind of.
Yeah, so I'm just painting a bunch of yellow onto here.
Yeah.
So, and that's probably not the right yellow.
Take it away from green too. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go a little more on the magenta there, but I'll show you the difference.
Yeah, even just in that. Yeah, look at this.
So you can see how blue the car was on the left versus to really match the tones more.
Yep. And that reflection, what are the highlights coming from? Well, in this case, right, street lamps, those sort of things. So when you have those bright highlights, make sure they're matching whatever those light sources are in both color and intensity. So going on, I'm looking at that close fender part there, really warming that up probably even more.
Right here? There goes my screen. Sorry, hold on.
90s eraser. There we go.
There we go. If you just jiggle the screen, sometimes it comes back.
Then it works. Yes.
All right. So you were mentioning this part here in front of me.
Yeah, I might
Let's
make that.
Add new and let's just stack it up a bit more.
Right on just that kind of area.
You know what it is? There's not enough detail there
For it
to
really
add a
grab
whole.
onto.
I mean, I got the yellow at like 100%, and you just don't see it. Yeah, there's just not. Well, I mean, compared to the blue that was over here, but you're on a highlight, like almost a white highlight. There's not much. Yeah.
So, but with the darks in the transition, if you go to, because white is white, but it's the transition from that highlight, and then even in just the edges of that. So if you do a new layer in Photoshop, turn it to overlay, eyedrop. Sort of the mid, sort of orangish yellow from that lamp in the upper right, that will brighten up some of the highlights with more orange color. And then if you eyedrop some of the darker oranges, that will darken the darks a little bit and more of that orange.
All right, so here it is in Photoshop.
Yeah.
Let's duplicate the layer.
I would just do a new blank layer. But you're
new blank layer. Sorry. No, new blank layer.
Change the blending mode to overlay.
To overlay.
And now paint, eyedrop some sort of yellow highlight. Let's see at the upper third.
Hold on, let's see if I can get to fit the screen so I can see what can't see what my.
Right, it doesn't even show.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, so
something like
there.
that.
Yep. And then hit brush and then low opacity this. Super duper low brush, soft. Yeah, when I say low, I'm thinking under 10%.
Yeah, I'm at 10. It's going to take a bit of building to get it there. There you go. It's starting to build.
Yeah, and then you can sort of customize, go around with each piece. But yeah, even just in that, do the do the before and after, take off the visibility of that layer 1 there, and just see the difference there. So
Yep.
what's nice about overlay is it's not going to muddy down your highlights. That's what's great about it. It's going to leave those highlights alone, but anything that has a darkness to it, it will, well, it depends on how light or dark you're painting it with. And this is a good example of just working with kind of a mid-level, but something with hue. It will darken the darks a little bit and leave those highlights alone, but make the transition a little more seamless with the color. So it's not just good for non-destructive dodge and burn, but adding color in certain areas, depending what you're working with.
And
okay.
we're gonna have to wrap it up. So let's have to do these couple quickly. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I again love the idea of this. Sort of playing with the smoke. Let's see. Looks like we're going I see 3 different directions with the lighting and color temperature. But again, if you can get it working on sort of emotional level, we can kind of forgive the physics of it. But no, it's just
because it's in the sun on the other side of the car.
Right. Yeah. So on the technical side, it's backlit. We would see more perhaps shadows with it, but it just with the colors, get things matching just a bit more on there. But I like the idea of kind of vignetting things on the side, bringing us right into that subject. But I would perhaps add a bit more shadow. This one, love the play of sort of light rays, but it does bring our eye right off the page up there, rather than I see. Oh, that's the road going behind it.
Yeah, that's the
yeah. Yeah, I almost feel like I want to see this in portrait. If there's more over there, it's leading me up there, but then it kind of leads me back, my eye back with that ray.
But you know what, though? The subject isn't what's happening down that road.
Yeah.
That would be the subject if this car wasn't here.
Right.
But with the car there,
yeah,
this is about the car. Why are you leading me off to someplace else?
Right. So the solution to that, if there was more, if there were trees that sort of did an overhang where it wasn't distracting.
Get rid of this highlight up here, yeah.
And just bring it about the car. Or tone it down quite a bit. Let's see, other things about this, if you're doing sun rays that warm, let those bleed on to the cars. I see a lot of sort of blue in those highlights. Get some of those little bits of, more reflection of those warm yellow greens.
Yeah, and that same trick that you just learned for the last one, the overlay layer, painting, and that would work. All right, well, good job, though. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, no,
last
great.
one coming up. Last one of the day.
Okay.
Last one of the day. These are different, yeah.
That's not a song.
That's a song, sure. I just made it up.
Awesome. Brilliant.
Sports composites. We're compositing sports. The class of 2018 from Brown County.
All right, which one do you want to start with?
Let's go where everybody shoots.
Yeah, so looking at it, I feel like stylistically, and again, fun idea. I like some of the elements that are happening with, feels like there's lots of action, lots of movement happening. Stylistically, it feels like it's going in several directions all at once. You have the sort of cartoony, sort of bee up there. The text is quite different.
That bee is probably their mascot.
Right. Yeah. So if you're doing that, perhaps make it more textured or layered. If you're going to have that guy in there, a little more subtle. Stylistically, it feels like it's just going a little too far from everything else, because the center part has a unique style, right? It feels like there's kind of a cohesion with all of those. In the bottom feels like it has its own style, and then the background has its, so just making a little more cohesion with all of those. But that's kind of what I'm seeing. What are you seeing in there?
Let's move on.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I mean,
Yeah.
It's not bad. This is a very hard thing to do, to get all the players in one thing, and everybody shooting is throwing me off.
Right.
So I mean, almost everyone is shooting. So there's just so many balls in there. It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not badly pulled off.
Right.
I can't put my finger on it, because there's a lot of good things happening here. There's a lot of good layers. You got this one guy in the front. You got that gray crowd in the background, like applauding, like they're at the game. It's really not badly done. I can't, which is, I guess, what I'm struggling with. I can't put my finger on it. I think it's just all the balls are just driving me.
I think the hierarchy too. Can you go back to it for one more second there? I know we got to wrap it up, but the hierarchy. What is element number one that's most important on here? And it's kind of hard to say, or at least for me, because you would think it was the person in the middle.
Yeah, you would say, well, he's the star of the team, but is he?
Or is it the text, right? So a lot of competing kind of number one elements.
And I will say this: I'll guarantee you that the Morristown Yellow Jackets love this poster. Okay. So it's not bad. Right. Please don't take this as like, oh, this is a mess. There's something that's not quite right from just a compositing standpoint or composition standpoint, but it's well pulled off.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look funky. It doesn't look weird. I can't quite put my finger on it. The one here that is just a big football.
Right, and that poor person that's being hit by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The poor person being hit by this giant, being crushed under the weight of his giant football is, for me, for this kind of thing, just a gratuitous zoom there. For me, with this kind of thing, I would rather see one main photo and all the other photos be small. You got the giant head coming out from the side and, you know.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that hierarchy idea. You know, what do you want to be the featured element? And I feel like you're going in three different directions.
Competing main elements.
Yes. Yep. And it's not that either or any of them are a bad idea.
No.
But I feel like, if you just pick one and go with that and then make the others, secondary.
This person's got some Photoshop skills, though, right?
Absolutely,
I mean, they're doing that. They're blending everything together. The blending and the layer masking and all. And same thing here, but.
See, this is where it feels like the hierarchy's a bit more clear, and stylistically it's working like the others.
That photo in the top left should be
true.
Screened back.
Uh-huh.
Like it's too forward, it's
right.
It's just, but again, I hate to say anything bad because this is really pretty good work. It's just, you're so close. How's that?
Yeah, there
you're
you go.
Close.
Yeah.
You know what I would do? I'll tell you who to go look at.
Here's a good one.
Either Donald Page or I tell you who, Matt, of course, Matt.
The Matt.
Oh, the other Matt. Why can't I think of his name? Any other time I could tell you in a second. He's a University of Texas, or Texas Longhorns. There he is. Matt Lang.
Oh, okay.
Matt Lang. God, I can't believe I went blank. Go look at Matt's work, right? His compositing stuff, you're going to go, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Go search for Matt Lang and Texas Longhorns. So do that. All right. A couple things we got to do. We're going to show you where to go to enter the contest. Go to KelbyOne.com/thegrid. And you have to tell us what you want to win. Do you want to win the compositing book? Do you want to win the Photoshop book? Do you want to win the Platypod Ultra, the little one, the Platypod Max, the big one, or the chicken and a biscuit and spray cheese? Speaking of that, all right, now you never had this before, is this correct?
Okay, correct.
All right, here, grab a cracker and get yourself a nice full one because you really want the real
one.
deal.
All right, where's the full?
Yeah, get a full one here.
I have my sights on it.
Now,
all right.
So here's what we're gonna do. All right, you always have to take off the tip. Here we go. Now, this is what's important. Just like with these, you got to just be real. You got to be straight. You don't have to say it's good if you think I don't like it, but it's important for people to know. Just because it comes in a can does not make it bad. So take a bite and tell me what you think.
All right. So if this comes right back out, there's still
it's not coming back. No.
Okay, you guarantee. All right.
Yeah, no. Either way, you're good.
To smell it, is this like a fine wine?
No, I'm gonna have one.
Here we go. Okay.
I just can.
I'll feel more comfortable. Here we go.
Yeah, we'll have one together.
Right. I'll take your word for it.
Like a couple of buddies eating cheese out of a can.
This is how it goes. Hey, how's it going? That's cheese.
That's a tweet of the week. A couple of buddies having cheese out of a can.
All right, here we go.
Oh, that's pretty good. What do you think?
It has a salty and a gooiness that really mixes.
They're born to be together. The saltiness comes from the chicken and the biscuit.
Right. Pure salt. It's a salt biscuit. Yeah, okay. And the cheese. I almost taste cheese in there. Like there's no.
I had such high hopes for you, Bret. I really did. This is a guy we can work with.
Let's see. Oh, it's in the aftertaste. Yeah.
It's too late, Bret.
Oh, man. It's over. Is there water? I need milk. No, there's a salt and there's a crunch, and then there's the cheese.
It's magic. You're going to be asking for more when we go off the air, which is any moment now. Remember, most important thing from today, if there's one takeaway that you can take away from this show today, it's to go to Instagram and follow _Juan Alfonso. Telling you, you're going to see stuff behind the scenes from our trip. There it is right there, _Juan Alfonso, or Juana Fonso, Juana. Oh, J-A Janal Fonso. See if that's like Rabino win. Mm-hmm. Jen, thank you. Thank all of you for watching. Joanne says, you know that's not really food, right? Okay, just real quick before we go. Right on the can, excellent source of calcium. Number 2, made with real cheese. Number 3, and this is pasteurized cheese snack. And most important, right here, no need to refrigerate.
And that's a bonus.
If that's not the perfect food, I don't know what is. It's this or tater tots. It's one or the other. I'm putting this on the set.
All right.
Someone's going to win. You're not going to win this one. We'll get you a brand new, fresh one from Publix. Anyway.
I will
Bret,
probably have another
thank you very much. Where can people go learn more about you?
Let's see. You can go to my Facebook page. If you search, Photoshop with Bret Malley on Facebook. Once you're logged in, you should be able to follow me on there. You can go to BretMalley.com. Bret with 1 T. I'm one of those. Then you should be able to see some of my work. I need to update the site. But yeah, so that's where. There's my little guy who's now 5 there, and our poor cat.
He's levitating you.
Yeah, that's his skill.
Your cat does look uncomfortable.
She's a good sport. That's for sure. But so BretMalley.com or the Facebook page, and those are the 2 main ways that I work on there. That was a fun one.
That's cool stuff.
That was floating barns. Imagine if barns had their own little kind of journey spirits. Anyways,
I think they should.
It was fun.
You know what comes from barn? You know what's usually in a barn? Cow.
With
you know
cheese.
what comes from cows?
This stuff straight.
No, chicken and a biscuit. Comes from cows. That's why it's so salty. Well, guys, we've blown this show to pieces. We've exploded it. And we broke Bret in the middle of it. We broke him straight in the middle of it.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around that word composite.
We're all trying to wrap our heads around. You want to see a composite? There's one on the back of the box. Folks, our time with you is done. _Juan Alfonso. We got to go. Don't forget, Photoshop World's coming up this summer. PhotoshopWorld.com. Lots of fun. And watch how long this jib goes. Watch how long he holds the last moment of this jib. The jib goes up 24 feet. Don't go back down. Juan, I'm going to take that underscore away. We'll see you guys. Am I here next week? I am here next week. It'll be a big week. We're bringing in Olympic photographer Jeff Cable. Just did the Olympics, Winter Olympics over in South Korea. He's going to be here with us. And there goes that jib. And it's going all the way to the sky.